In 2018, my life felt like it was quite literally falling apart. I had been through 4 major surgeries for endometriosis. My health was a complete shit show. I was in financial struggle, emotional struggle, health struggle, which also my marriage is falling apart, which how could it not, right, with all these things happening? My job was shifting. The best boss I'd ever had in the world was leaving the organization. It was the beginning of a fast decline of that opportunity, and my marriage ended, and I continued to go down the path of destruction, of all these things happening to me as I felt at the time, along with having my tubes removed during my last surgery of that year because it was an infection. So no longer having the natural ability to have a child with someone that I may actually want to at some point in my life was taken away from me in that moment. And I continued to spiral down. I jumped into another long-term relationship right after that divorce ended, which was my second divorce. And in that relationship of codependency with a best friend and then a partnership relationship, both of those filled with toxic energies and coping mechanisms and alcohol and cocaine and poor decision after poor decision, self-destruction, abandonment of myself, and releasing of my boundaries. And then I fortunately met my now current husband. However, I was still terrified. I realized that he was a different kind of connection in my heart, but I was still scared. I still had a lot of work to do. And I started digging in. I started healing my health. I started healing my heart, going through a lot of plant medicine journeys, digging in to find out what the underlying stories actually were that I've been hiding from, that I've been running from, that I've been numbing from my entire life. And what I found out was that plant medicine uncovered a lot of stuff. Why, Amanda? Why this? Why this? It was from my childhood, why I'd been cheated on again, and why I found another partner who actually wanted to be with me. Surprise, still had the self-doubt. But why? And what if he wanted to leave me again? Or what if I got left again? This could happen again. Continued along this journey and was introduced to what's called the 4-step process with my beautiful brother, Daniel Rios, in the Awakened community with Danny Moreau. And let me tell you, that changed my life. And I use my words with intention. It quite literally transformed my life. I realized during this process the words that I was using to speak to myself, the way I was treating Amanda was wretched. How could she ever accomplish anything with these types of stories that she was holding in her body? And it created this pain and the suffering in my health, in my relationship, in my career, my lack of progression in where I thought I should be in my career. This process transformed everything. It gave me the courage to start a podcast at the beginning of January, and then it continued. The ripple effect continued. I dug in a little bit more to this 4-step process and realized that there was a lot more there. Dug into these old stories that I had, these limiting beliefs. Was able to re-regulate my own nervous system, to release these trapped emotions that have been in my body, because I've been learning all this new stuff and all this healing and affirmations and quantum leaps and all the things, but there was nowhere to put it. There was no space. There was a space inside of my body, inside of my heart, inside of my mind. The stories were full of other shit. So as I dug into this Enlifted process, started becoming conscious of the unconscious, started thinking about the words that I was using every day, not only the bad ones that I was talking to myself, but how can I use the good ones? And this isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about just saying positive words. This is much deeper than that. And whenever I started to do this, I was able to release the space of all these trapped emotions that were trapped inside of my body, to learn what those things that happened to me were actually happening for me, and got me to a place of self-discovery, of self-love, the death and the rebirth of my old self to my new self, the remembering of the power that I actually have inside of me, the power of my words, the power of my magic wand, a pen. You can do all this with a pen. And the best part is I've seen this process work hundreds of times, hundreds, maybe thousands at this point, and every single time it works, every single time, which is pretty fucking powerful to see something that works every single time. And what this did for me, I was able to let out all the trap stories, and then I was able to fully receive the sun and the good parts. Celebrate the things that I already have, to be able to celebrate the progress that I already made, to be able to plan for the future with a freedom and capacity to do so. And the beauty of this tool is that you can use it for anything. I've used it to get the stuck, shitty trauma stories out. And I've also used it to celebrate myself. I've used it to celebrate my babies. And I love my life. I have the freedom to choose and write whatever I want now. And the best part is, now I get to share this with you. I get to share this whole process with you. And my favorite part is that this isn't like chiropractic services where you're gonna need to see me every single week forever. This is something that I can help you do in 3 months that took me 3+ years. And I'll teach you this so that you can use it for yourself. Because here's the reality. Even though you've worked on changes, you've healed so many parts of you, I'm still a human. Shit still comes up, right? And this tool helps me. It helps me live a better life. It helps me live a freer life, to do what I want, to have the freedom to choose. And I can teach you how to do it. I can teach you how to do it yourself. So I can hold the light for you, and then you can hold your own damn light. It's pretty easy. I'll show you.